Hi, welcome back to my channel, Fabulously Frugal and Fancy. I'm Brandy. Today's video is a little bit of organization in the craft room, also a DIY, and just some hacks, tips, tricks for organization in the craft room. I hope you enjoyed this. I did do this DIY. I enjoyed making it. And if you want to try, I will have the cut list of the wood in the description box below. Let's go make something fabulous. Alright, so here is my current craft storage arrangement that I have for my paint. And it obviously is not working too well. These ones up here at the top, they get pulled out. So here's the cut list. I decided to build my own. These are the pieces of wood that you will need. These will also be listed down in the description box. I used scrap wood that I had at home, so instead of the pine board, some of these were furring strips. But I start by measuring. My board, my backing board that I'm using is 2 foot by 4 foot. It's 4 foot tall, 2 foot wide, so all the shelves need to be 2 foot wide. So I'm marking all of these first. I'm just using a 2 foot piece and a square ruler. I'm not sure if they're just called a square or a square ruler, but I'm using one of those to make sure that my lines are straight, to make sure that I'm getting the 2 feet out of this furring strip here that is 8 foot long. Again, I used wood that I had at home. In my cut list, I did say pine boards, just because that wood, if I was buying wood, you can look at this wood and see that it's not the best. This is for my paint storage, so it doesn't need to be the smoothest wood or the best kind of wood. It just needs to be work for my storage. So I didn't really mind using other wood. And here I just go into the shed. I'm using the miter saw, cutting all of the wood at 2 foot lengths so that I have all of my shelves. And I used my orbital sander to sand all of the wood. This backing piece was the only piece of wood I had to buy. This is just a 1/4 inch piece of plywood. Wasn't really expensive. I believe this piece was like $25 or so, and that's all that I paid for this. The rest of it, I looked at like those acrylic shelves and things that you could hang on your wall, but for the amount of storage I needed, it was just going to be so much money, and it was just like not worth it to me. So then I have all my pieces cut, and I set them up here on this table so I can measure and see where I'm going to put my shelves. I had originally planned on using 4 of the deeper boards. I ended up only using 3 of those. So I ended up with 7 shelves instead of 8, which is perfectly fine. I have plenty of storage on my shelf. I used my paint bottles to measure, the height of my shelves that I needed. Drew a little line on there, and that I would know where to glue and brad nail them in. This video has taken me a lot longer to get it up than I wanted. I was having some issues with my my editing equipment letting me use the microphone and so forth. It's just it was probably most likely operator error, because I've been learning how to use this new microphone of mine with a mixer and just getting everything to work properly. Sometimes doesn't work the way it's supposed to, and I forget exactly which button I'm supposed to hit for what, and it's just mostly operator error. So as you can see, I'm just using the paint bottles that I have, the paint tubes and the larger bottles to measure. I did use some wider shelves, some deeper shelves, sorry, and some more narrow ones, because as you can see, some of my paint bottles are the small ones, some of them are these larger tubes, and some of them are the large chalk paint containers, and I wanted everything to fit on my shelf. So I went by what I needed as far as storage goes, because of the size of the paint that I already have. most of my paint, I don't stick to one brand or anything. Most of the time I get what is on sale or what is on clearance. And so I don't really use a lot of, like one specific brand. I do like these Arteza metallic ones. I think these are great for metallic paints. It goes on um, very well. It's not a see-through. Sometimes you buy the metallic paints and you got to do like 6 or 7 coats. With that Arteza, you don't have to do that. It doesn't require nearly as many coats. So I really like that for the metallic paints. But otherwise, I buy paints, and I didn't buy those. I got those as a gift for Christmas. But I don't buy paints based on, what I want. Usually I get what's on clearance, I get what's on sale, it goes on my shelf, and I use what I have there. I'm showing you the square. It also has a level in it as well. I picked up my square at Harbor Freight. It may not be perfectly square, but it works well for what I do. So I'm going to be using wood glue with a little bit of hot glue just to stabilize these quickly. So if I use the hot glue, it'll give me that immediate hold, but the wood glue will really adheres everything very well. And then, excuse me. I apologize. My allergies have been going just a little bit crazy. And so, anyway, I'm using the hot glue and the wood glue. I really had to fight with this wood glue. I need to get me one of those bottles that have like the easier so it doesn't like clog up. I think it's called the Wood Dot bottle or something like that. I need to get me one of those because fighting with this bottle, it took me forever to get the glue out of it to where it would actually flow out of the tip. I really like the tip of this one because it's like a fine tip and you can kind of get glue where you need it to go, but it really was clogged up and I had to like take it apart. I actually turned off the video for a little while so that I could take the whole bottle apart and get it cleared out so that I could use it. I just put a liberal amount of wood glue and then I used some hot glue. My lines are already drawn on there where I need the boards to be. I give it a second for the hot glue to kind of set up. And then I just go all the way up. Like I said, my line's already drawn where I need my shelves to be. And I'm using the level and the square to make sure that one wasn't totally straight. I needed a little bit more hot glue because the hot glue, but the wood glue you have time to work with. So the hot glue was not for long-term hold. I would not use hot glue on wood for long-term hold, but for short-term, so that I can get it to stand up because I'm going to use brad nails in the through the back, and I wanted these already attached so that I could, have somebody help me hold it up and shoot the brad nails in from the back. And that's why I used the hot glue as well, just so that I could get it to be totally secure before I stand it up, because if I couldn't leave this outside overnight or anything for the wood glue to set up, and I needed to take it inside, and to do that I wanted it a little bit more secure. So I used the hot glue for the immediate hold so I could do the brad nails, and then I could take it inside overnight so that it could dry properly. Have the wood glue completely set up and cure. And this Gorilla wood glue, I kid you not, if you use it on wood and then you try to take the wood apart after it's completely dry, you are going to be ripping wood apart. Like, this stuff bonds wood together so well, and it really, really makes it secure. You cannot get it apart if you want to afterwards. You really have to really pry it and work it to get it completely apart. And I'm just putting my last shelf on here now. So yeah, I'm still fighting with that bottle because this bottle is just, as soon as you stand it back up right, it all goes back down, and it's a thick wood glue, so it's hard to get out of this bottle, but I'm going to try the other kind of bottles and see if they work any better. All right, now for the brad nailer, I did have some help. I had my nephews out here holding it up for me. I actually showed them, let them put in some of the brad nails for me as well. And then I had this little trim piece. We lined it up on the sides and on the bottom, and I just attached this with brad nails. I didn't use any wood glue because it's not support of any kind. It's just to hold the paints on the shelves. And that piece right there, if you're actually looking at it, is upside down. I do fix that later on. Here is the next day, and all of the front pieces are on. Is when it's laying here like this, this is the stain I'm using. I'm just using black stain because that's what my craft room is done in black and pink, and so I wanted it black, and I like to stain instead of paint. But the way it's laying now, you can see the actual shape of the shelves. This little L, almost like a bookshelf type shelf, and everything's spaced apart where I wanted it so that I could put all of my paints on one shelf, and it was better paint storage for me this way. So it's a hot sunny day. It's like 90, and it is perfect for staining outdoors because one, you don't smell any of it, and two, it dries really, really quickly when it's outside. So I'm just applying the stain with a rag. I'm going in all the grooves of the bottoms of the shelves, the tops of the shelves, and going all around on the sides, staining the entire piece with the black wood stain. I wear gloves. It does not prevent me from getting black fingernails, however, because my thumb popped through and I looked like I had filthy, dirty fingernails for the next few days. But that's what you do when you're crafting, when you're doing home repair, when you're doing any kind of thing. You get stuff all over you. It really does not matter to me if I have gloves on or not because I still get it on my skin. But I had black spots on my arms, or I accidentally touched pieces of it with my arms. It was a mess, but it turned out cute in the end, so I'm okay with a little bit of stain on my arms. And again, I'm just applying the stain with a rag and wiping it off with the same rag. I just apply it and then I use the same rag to kind of spread it around and thin it out and wipe it down. I liked the stain as opposed to paint because it just goes to the wood a lot better. It's a lot easier to get it all attached. And somehow I ended up with a little bit of a repeat there, and I apologize for that. Not sure what happened with my video editing, but all right, here is my shelf completely finished. I did put all the paints on there. Everything fit very nicely. This is 4 foot tall, so it is large. You could hang this on the wall. I don't know if I have studs right behind there, so right now it's just leaning against the wall. Next, I'm just giving you a couple storage hacks. I used these wire shelves standing up, leaning up against the wall to hold all of my florals. And it works really well because my florals are out on display. I can see them. I can see what I have. I have lots of pinks and colorful things. I have, everything right here where I can see it. And I can pull it out very easily, use what I need. It works really well, and it's an inexpensive way to store your flowers. This little container I got at Harbor Freight, if you have a Harbor Freight around you. This was like a lime, not lime, but like fluorescent yellow where the gold is. I spray painted it. I took all the drawers out and spray painted the base gold so that I could use it. It's great for little things. This is made initially for screws and things like that. And here's how I store my flowers that I've already used in projects. Once they've already been cut off their stems, they don't fit on my storage racks for those. And so I put them in these little, like these Ziploc baggies. A lot of these came from Dollar Tree. They're the large ones that come in a box. And they're Ziploc, and then I use a pant hanger, fold the top over, and it's all very visible. So what did you think of the shelf that I built? Do you think that's something you would try to build? If it is, let me know. I would just be interested in seeing your pictures and so forth. Other tips and tricks, for the organization, just simple things that I find in my craft room that help me. I hope they helped you as well. Till the next time, I hope you have a blessed day. Bye.